Hey everybody, what's going on? I am Jamie Dawn, your evolutionary revolutionary astrologer, bringing you your celestial wisdom for the week of September 11th through the 18th. And I will be back in my office starting on Tuesday, September 13th. Thank you so much for your understanding, flexibility, and I'm looking forward to connecting with you. So as we kick off this week, we now have Mercury officially in retrograde motion. It appears to be going backwards, even though it's not, but we feel a little bit more internalized. Our internal dialogue is really showing up for us right now. And we are preparing for Mars to start its retrograde pattern in October. So we're already starting to feel the shadow of Mars in Gemini. So there's a lot of that internal dialogue happening, a lot of information that may feel a little bit foggy, some things that have to be revisited, recommunicated, redone. This is a great time, though, like I mentioned before, for completing projects, completing conversations, finding solution, things ending in a way that from our past that needs to be wrapped up. Now, Sunday, September 11th, Mars is moving into a trine with Chiron. So this is where our wounds can become our greatest teachers. It also, we can find that someone could say something, or maybe our own internal dialogue says something that scratches an old wound, and it's there to help us heal. Remember, we can't heal what we don't feel. So if the words become a tool instead of a weapon, something that we can use and we can see it, it's a great blessing, then we can use it as a way of bringing out a better version of ourselves, and we can help others who may be also going through their own wounding. Now, the other thing that I can say is we may be really driven during the next couple of days, starting here on Sunday, to look for ways in which we can help others, maybe through talking, through processing. This is a lot of really good verbal processing energy that we have. It's also going to be really important if we are stirred up, if our wounds are scratched or open, that we find a healthy outlet for expressing them. So this is a great time if you need to move your body, if you need to scream, if you need to sing, if you need to, like I say, talk therapy, all of those things. This is a time for you to be able to use that Mars energy to do it. Monday, September 12th, Mercury, like I say, is retrograding, where it's affecting a lot of us when it comes to transportation and communication. The biggest theme here that I want to point out, not just on Monday, but throughout this entire, well, really lifetime, but especially during the retrograding time, take nothing personally. It's going to feel personal if we make it about us. So the mantra is, this isn't about me. When someone reacts or someone says something, it's giving a data point of where they're at, what their understanding is. And also, it's really good for us to keep our sense of humor during this time, because it will keep things lighter. Like I say, if you don't take it personally and you go, okay, this is maybe I can find some humor in all of this. I can even laugh at myself if I do take it personally, or if I do something or say something that isn't of the best version of me. One of the practices that I'm taking on, you're welcome to join me, it's an invitation, is to say thank you, even if it's not out loud, at least in my head, to everything that shows up, realizing everything is either a teacher or an opportunity. And this is the time also with Mercury retrograding in the sign of Libra for a few more days, is we're reevaluating our relationships. What's most meaningful? What is important to us? Does this still work? Also, is there a way in which we can maybe deepen some things, find some diplomacy if there's been tension and conflict? This is a great conflict resolution time. So if you've even had internal conflict happening, really use this time to find ways in which you can bring harmony, not necessarily getting rid. This is integration. Bring harmony to both the positive and the negative. Tuesday, September 13th, Venus and Mars are squaring. They're setting up for this square that's going to be happening exactly on Thursday. But the reason I'm bringing it up here Tuesday is we're going to start feeling it, because as the planet starts to apply to another planet's energy, like Venus applying to Mars, it's going to start to stir some things up and bring some energy in. So expressing anger and aggression and irritation in a healthy way, that's probably the biggest theme for this week in particular. So also, if you're in a healthy relationship, if it feels really energizing and good for you, your sexual energy may be at an all-time high. It's a great way to express this Venus Mars energy. But also exercise, any body movement, like I say, screaming, singing, all of those things at the top of your lungs. This is also a great time if you're wanting to get your information out. If you have something that you're really wanting to teach someone or you're wanting to share with others, this is a great time to push it out into the world. Get it out there. Now, granted, with Mercury retrograde, we say don't start anything new. Yes, that's true. But if this is something you've been working on for a while and you're wanting to now share it with others, this is a great time to do beta tests. It's a great time to do a little soft launch, if you will, and just get some feedback and, give yourself that permission to receive information and then tweak things accordingly, especially with Venus in Virgo, because it's very good at details. So, like I mentioned, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Venus squaring Mars, lots of wonderful sexual energy. If there has been tension within the relationship, it's abusive or it's not working for you, this is a time where you may pull yourself apart. I can see a lot of couples who have had a lot of issues separating for a short time. Doesn't necessarily mean that they break up or divorce, because I'm not recommending that during a retrograding time. But what I can say is the time maybe for some separation. Take yourself to a retreat. Maybe you go stay with a family member for a couple weeks or days, whatever it is that gives you a little bit of spaciousness. Because remember, Esther Perel talks about this a lot with relationships, that separation creates desire. So if you're in each other's face all the time, trying to resolve issues, all of that, that is not necessarily going to help. This is a good time to give yourself permission to pull apart and to really focus on you, focus on what you bring uniquely to the relationship, so that when you can come back together to talk about it, you can decide whether or not it's continuing, if the relationship is worth saving. Remember this rule of thumb too: if the relationship is more important than the subject matter, stay with it. Use your conflict resolution tools. And remember, not every conversation is going to resolve itself one time. You may have to have multiple conversations. Now, the other thing is that there could be some competition created this week within the relationship. Now, that could bring up more sexual energy, that sexual tension thing that happens on soap operas and TV shows and movies and all of that. Is like, oh, for fuck's sake, people just get on with it, get together, right? This is a great time to build up a little bit of that, like teasing and like, those different exchanges that bring out some of that sexuality in a healthy way. If you're single, get out and mingle. Just don't get overly attached while Mercury is retrograde, because as we know, things are not always what they appear to be. So this is a time to have fun. This is a time that if you want just some casualness and that sort of thing, yes, Venus in Virgo takes relationships seriously. So you may find yourself a little bit more discriminating about who you just have a casual relationship with. But if you're willing to play around a little bit and get to know people, remember, dating should be fun. So if you're single, mingle. Just let it be more of like, hey, let's just hang out, get to know each other. If it needs to be expressed sexually, then we stay healthy about it and we're consensual and all that sort of thing. But let's not take it too seriously right now. Then I also will say that this coming weekend, the moon will move into chatty and connecting Gemini, canoodling with Mars, and making a square eventually to Venus. So this can bring in some fun conversations, some fun connections. I would also say it could bring up a little bit of that fear if you get into the over analysis paralysis that Virgo can kind of get into. And then Gemini just wants to chat and not take things too seriously. There could be some conflict where you want to talk about something a little more serious, and maybe the person you're dating or flirting with or whatever makes light of it, right? So it could be something like that, and that doesn't feel good. But overall, I would say this week in particular has a lot of that, get out, sexual tension, sexual energy. And I don't just mean physical sex. I also mean this tantric relationship where it's like, how do you and I do this little dance and share in this energy together and make it fun? And maybe there is that fun competitive energy that happens, and it can lead to, excuse me, it can lead to something really powerful and end up getting expressed in a really deep and meaningful way. However you choose to use this energy, just know everything comes into our awareness as either a teacher or an opportunity to be able to deepen our practices, to invite us to show up fully for ourselves and for the other. And when in doubt, if for some reason you get caught in a reaction or you get caught in a situation that you're like, oh, I could have done better, great self-compassion is important here. Okay. Give yourself a lot of space and grace. We're all perfectly imperfect humans, and Venus in Virgo forgets that sometimes. So it's really important that we come back to I'm a human and I am imperfect. I'm doing the best I can. And when in doubt, use this Venus and Virgo energy to get out and be of service in some way. If you feel heavy, you feel depressed, you feel sad, you feel isolated, put yourself out there. Even those introverts out here, find ways in which you can be of service, even if it's just to write a sweet note to somebody to say, hey, I'm thinking about you. All right, you guys, I hope this helps. Please like, subscribe, share, comment, come find me at jamiedon.com. And I look forward to connecting with you. Have such a great week.